This episode of the Local Insider Podcast is brought to you in part by My Patriot Supply. There are two things you can count on when you buy from My Patriot Supply: getting high quality food for the best value and the peace of mind that comes with knowing that you're prepared. The emergency food you'll depend on is made from the freshest ingredients. Meals are freeze-dried and sealed airtight with oxygen absorbers and closed in resealable heavy-duty 4-layer zipper packs for long-term storage that lasts up to 25 years. And they're all made in the USA. By ordering today, you'll have the peace of mind that only comes with the ability to feed yourself and those you love in any crisis situation. We think you'll agree you cannot put a price tag on the personal freedom that comes with being prepared. Visit localinsidershow.com/emergency food and pick up your 2-week or 4-week emergency food supply. Again, that's localinsidershow.com/emergency food.
Welcome to the Local Insider Podcast, a show about everyday people who make a big difference.
Hey everybody, Brian back again. A little bit of local news here. This winter's first snow for us in South Logan County was this weekend, with reports of as much as 6.5 inches on the top of Mount Magazine. Most of us in the valley here didn't get quite that much, but it was still got a white dusting, and the roads were fine. There was no school closures. Facebook was flooded with pictures of the white stuff. Booneville held its first annual Christmas cruise this last weekend. Saturday, December 12th, attendees proclaimed it a huge success, with many Booneville residents coming out with their vehicles adorned with Christmas decorations. A group of local citizens decided to put the event together after hearing word that the city had canceled their Christmas parade due to COVID-19. My next guest is a professional photographer from Booneville, Arkansas. She specializes in creating original portrait art. Each session is tailored specifically to your interests, visions, and desires. Please help me by welcoming Stacy Holbert. Welcome to the show, Stacy.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So how did you get started in photography?
Not really a photographer. I'm an artist. I've been an artist all my life, and I've done various artsy, craftsy things like throwing pottery on a wheel, making stained glass windows, making jewelry, and photography is just another medium for me to express my art.
Oh, wow. So it's just a way for you to capture kind of what's going on in your head.
Yeah, and all those other things I mentioned take a lot of equipment, and I have had a tendency to move around a lot in my life, and I have to sell all my stuff, and then I pick up a new hobby, and I gather all this equipment, and then we move again. And photography, all you need really is a camera and a computer.
Right. So anybody with just any camera can go out and make pictures of a girl with holding a basketball in one hand and her arm's on fire and the other arm is frozen and it looks like real. Is that all it takes? Is just a camera?
Well, maybe a little more than that, and a lot of it trading in experience.
If any of you've seen her work, you will know what I'm talking about. She takes, if you can, I'm not big on whoever the biggest special effects people are in Hollywood. Okay, let's just say George Lucas. If George Lucas wanted to take a picture of a basketball player and have his industrial light and magic, well, I guess they belong to Disney now, but that's the quality that you're seeing here. I was amazed. I couldn't believe it.
Well, the way I got into it really was in 2012, my husband retired, and we decided that we were going to go live in the country of Belize. So we rented out our house and we went to Belize for the winter. And it's a very beautiful country. And so I wanted to document our experience there. And I had not a great camera, but just, a typical Instamatic like most people have. But I was taking lots of pictures and posting them on Facebook, and everybody seemed to love my pictures. Mm-hmm. And so I just studied more and more and got better at it, and took a lot of like travel photography, got a better camera, made better stuff. And then I got interested. I took an online Photoshop class that was very in-depth. It was like a year-long class, and I learned so much in that. And I wanted to use that, as my artistic outlet. Mm-hmm. How we got to Booneville is my mother lives here. She's lived here for 30 years or so, and she's getting elderly and needed somebody to take care of her and live with her. So my husband and I were available. My brothers are still working, so I thought we can go there and we'll live with her and take care of her. And settling in one place, actually, we loved that. We love it here in Booneville. Prior to here, before we left for Belize, we lived in Colorado, the Denver area. And compared to that craziness, the huge population and the terrible traffic, right. Liberals and everything, we just love it here in the Bible Belt, small town. And everybody here has been so welcoming. It's just been a blessing to be here.
Right. Denver, approximately what year were you in Denver? Was it before or after the influx of everybody moving to Denver? I guess that would be around 2012, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that was happening during that time. And I moved there in 92, and we left we moved to Belize in 12, and we would just live in Belize in the winter time and go back to Colorado in the summertime for like 3 months.
Wow, that's rough.
And yeah, that was a rough life. At that time, I was a competitive water skier, slalom water skier. Yeah. So that's why we would go back to compete in tournaments, practice and stuff. We lived on a lake there. After about 3 years of living in Belize and Colorado, we always say, this is what we say about Belize. Belize is beautiful, and I wouldn't trade that experience for anything, but living in Belize is different than visiting.
Right.
This is what we say. Living in paradise is different than visiting paradise. So we had issues, and we just decided not to go back. So we did a year of living in our fifth wheel trailer and traveling around the Southeast for about 8 months and visited all kinds of interesting places. Then when we got back here to Booneville to visit my mom, I was a little shocked at how she had declined, and we just felt like we needed to stay here. So that's what we did.
Well, we're definitely glad that you did. Can you explain a little bit how the sausage is made as far as you take a picture and you use a Nikon, right? Is that the brand of?
I have a Nikon. That's right. I use a Nikon. My favorite, I do families and seniors mostly. That's my clientele. And I love doing seniors because they like to be creative and they embrace my crazy stuff I like to do.
Right.
So typically I like to have a consultation with the client before the shoot so we can talk about what it is that they're passionate about, their hobbies, their interests, their sports, whatever it is, and try to incorporate those, try to get ideas on, do they have ideas? What ideas can I come up with? And kind of meld that and plan the shoot out so we get this really creative stuff. Also, I don't just hand my clients a disc with digital files on it, which typically gets thrown in a drawer and never printed or even looked at again. So I specialize in providing printed products to my clients, kind of like the old days back when you used to. Yeah.
The what was it? The Olin Mills? Was that?
Yes.
I remember those.
Yeah, so I have all kinds of, in my studio there, I have all kinds of samples of all the types of printed product I sell, like canvases, metal prints, thin wraps, albums, graduation cards, Christmas cards. I have a magazine that's really popular with my clients. So we go over that stuff during the consultation too. Then I get a plan, I get a shot list. So when we have our shoot, in order to create those images we discussed, I go through the shot list and make sure we get all those pictures. Sometimes we do this like in front of a green screen, so I can cut the athlete or whatever it is out and put it in a different background.
That's how you do your green screen. Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with the green screen because in my line of work, which is marketing, we use green screen for video a lot in order to remove the background. But you can't really superimpose effects onto people just by using the green screen. You have to use a software. What do you use for your software? Is it Photoshop or is there another software?
It's mostly Photoshop. Yes.
Okay.
Mostly Photoshop. Yeah. And I have a hard drive full of digital assets, is what I call them. Things like fire and smoke bombs. But I do also, I try to make my photo shoot fun and creative, an experience. So I can add smoke and smoke bombs in Photoshop, but that's not near as fun as actually putting off a photo, a smoke bomb during the photo shoot.
Right.
So we do play around with smoke bombs and colored lights and all, whatever creative thing we can think of. And I do a mixture, I do some stuff in front of the green screen, or we go out into the country and take pictures. And, I use a lot of lighting. I've done, I'm a self-taught on all this stuff, on photography and on lighting, but mostly I've learned it by watching videos on YouTube. I have purchased some training, but it's mostly been online training.
Right.
And I just go out and play with it. The reason I decided to start the business is because I needed clients. I needed people to put in front of my camera that I could create these, ideas that I had.
Right. So your first clients were free, or did they pay like a little bit, or was it how did that work?
I did do a lot of free stuff at first to get a portfolio to show. And then, and the first few people weren't very costly,
Right.
They were a lot less than I charge now.
Right.
Yeah. Just kind of build it up slowly. Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of a
lot of word of mouth.
A common thread that I see a lot in the digital marketplace. Let's say you want to be a copywriter. Well, you can go and get the degrees and all that and be in student debt for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or you could do like somebody like you or I, you could graduate from YouTube University, and you've got the actual desire to do it, but you don't want to go through all of that. And, you just dip your toe. It's a side hustle, so to speak. And you actually work at it instead of working around it. And
yeah,
it's, I've heard Elon Musk talk about it. I've heard all of these great, anybody in the online marketplace, the online, what's the word I'm looking for? Industry. Gary Vaynerchuk, people like that. So basically you start out writing on your own blog. You do some ghost writing, you go on Fiverr. And when you have a portfolio like you did, when you have a portfolio built up, your work speaks for itself, and you can submit that and get a job, or maybe you can grow your own thing like you did. So I hear
you're right.
A lot of young people that they don't know what they want to do because they don't know what to go to school for. And I say, well, what do you like to do? What interests you? Then do it. If some things may require a degree, and that may be ROI positive if you were to buy that degree, but some may not. It may be money ahead to do. Go the other route and just do it. Jump in head first.
Yeah, one thing I would say if I were advising somebody who wanted to start a business, whether it's this or anything, is learn about business first, because I didn't. And I have fun with how to do my books, how to do marketing, how to set up websites. And it's just really, it's been very difficult.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. Luckily, business is one of the things that I do in my professional career. So building my own business, I tell people that the good thing about having a job is you're not, the risk is not on your own dime. If you have your own job, somebody else is putting forth that capital, and, all your mistakes, if you make too many, you're going to get footballed real quick, but you get to learn there on somebody else's dime, and they get to reap most of the benefits because they paid for it. But
that's right.
But you can use that if you want to start your own business, of course. So I guess we used to call it the school of hard knocks.
That's right. I've had a lot of hard knocks the past few years.
As a business owner in Booneville, how receptive have the people been here to that?
It's been great. They have been so welcoming to me. I think it did help, that I would say I'm Beverly's daughter. And so they'd say, "Oh, I love your mom." So they all know her, and they just welcome me with open arms. It's been fantastic. We found a great church here, and then we have a whole church family there now who are our best friends. So that's another reason we love it here. The other thing I'll say is that the community has this philosophy of support local businesses for the most part.
Yes.
And they do a great job of that. Yes.
One thing that I've noticed about Booneville is, like you said, all of the local businesses support each other. I was interviewing one business owner, and I asked them, because they were sharing things on their business page from another business, and what would any other town be a competing business? I was like, did you make this for them, or what did you get out of this? They were like, no, we help each other out. And I'm thinking, man, that is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been great.
I interviewed some business owners that are no longer business owners, but they're in the age where, they're retired, they're cashed out, and they described pretty much the same thing, that it's always been this way. Not to say that there haven't been some bad eggs, because everybody knows there has, but for the most part, they say when calamity hits here in South Logan County, it may get down, but it always bounces back stronger because we lift each other up, we help each other out, and that's
not only business wise, but I've been really impressed with if there's somebody who has a tragedy in their family, or kid gets sick or whatever, they all pull together. They have fundraisers, they sell chili dogs, they do whatever to help each other out.
Right. Another reason I like to call this paradise. So have you had any strange requests, like, hey, can you film me while I'm skydiving? Can you go up with us and take pictures while we're falling out of this from 20,000 feet?
Well, I haven't had that one, and I would not do that because I am afraid of heights, and no way I'm jumping out of an airplane. I haven't had anything stranger than something I've thought up with, like putting a girl's arm on fire and one on ice. So,
I've got
nothing really crazy.
I've got an idea. You can be
okay.
Okay. We have a lot of avid hunters around here. You can be positioned in a tree stand adjacent to one of the hunters and get them on their, like their prized hunt, like in the act. How's that? Yeah. Is that a terrible idea?
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good, actually.
But no, really, you're like you were saying, you're an artist. You're not there to capture a moment in time. You're there to create something that is not only in their mind, of who they are as a person, but also it's your canvas and you paint it out. And by interviewing them and getting to know them, you take what is in their mind and put it on the picture. Is that a good depiction of?
That's right. That's right. And so not to say that I don't just take some pictures too. I mean,
right.
Families and stuff, they just want a portrait, but especially for the seniors, or maybe for like a Sweet 16 shoot, something like that, we want to create something really epic that they can look back on and say, man, I had so much fun during that photo shoot. Or what I really sell to the seniors is, let's create maybe a memory book that shows all the things you're involved in during this important year of your life, your last year of high school. And 20 years from now, you'll look back to this book and can reminisce about the good times you had. I encourage them to include friends in their photo shoot, so they have pictures of their friends in there. I go to their activities, like their football games, their basketball games, and take pictures of them playing that we put in the book. Then, like if they're hunters, fishermen, whatever, I've gone to the lake and taken pictures of kids fishing or hunting or whatever. And then we just do a mixture of all different kinds of pictures in their book. At the end of the year, we create this book, and it has all the stuff they were involved in their senior year.
Oh, wow. So this isn't just like, hey, it's time to do your senior pictures. This is actually a year-long process that unfolds.
For a few kids, yeah, I do. I have different options. But yes, I have a senior program.
Oh, I see.
I take about 12 to 15 kids in that. I always say I'm only going to take 10 because it is very time consuming, but then somehow I always get a few more than that. But then I certainly do some that are just one shoot, but I still try to make those as creative as possible.
Right.
But I really love those ones that go all year, because I want to help them capture those memories to keep them.
Oh, I know. I briefly remember my senior year, and maybe the 5 years.
I wish I had pictures of it.
I'm glad there's no pictures of mine.
Yeah.
But that was a different time. So what was
really popular for? I'm sorry. It's really popular for athletes, like cheerleaders, and kids that are involved in activities like band and robotics and things like that. Yeah.
The robotics thing, that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
A guy that I know.
And that's amazing.
Yeah. He's been in the IT industry for many, many, many years on the networking side and on the ISP. He was even ISP support administration. And, I heard that he had left that and gone to some robotics program. And I'm like, is that a thing? I've always, kind of kept my ear to the ground with respect to technology and internet, anything to do with, I was a sci-fi kid, I was Star Trek, Star Wars, everything like. You wouldn't know by looking at me. I'm just kidding.
Oh, really?
You probably would.
You're a nerd.
Not to say that I'm not trying to be politically incorrect. But we nerds, we kind of look alike. But but anyway, this guy got a job in the robot, and now I don't know what he's doing. He started his own business, or maybe he went to work with another company. I'll catch up with him. Maybe we'll have him on the show.
Are you talking about Dustin?
Yeah, Dustin.
Is it Dustin? Yeah. I did his son, Drew, last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I did some. I don't know if you saw those on, but I thought they were really cool. They put him on a background with a robot, an actual android kind of looking.
That
and they
was
were like,
the picture I saw. Yeah. It's like the robot from the Will Smith movie. What was that? I don't remember the name of it. But
yeah. I don't remember, but yes.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. It's a year-long program. You take 10 to 12 kids, or 12 to 15 kids. So do they all have, are they all like Booneville, or are there some that go to, you can, let's say if you had somebody from Paris or County Line or Magazine, would you be able to do that?
And the first year I did take kids from other towns, but I found it was impossible for me to get to activities in other towns. So now I'm only doing it with Booneville kids.
I noticed that you're at the games a lot, and you take a lot of video and pictures at the games. Great shots.
Yes,
too.
Thank you. I started going to the games to get pictures of my seniors that are on my program. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, well, I'm already here. Just might as well take all the pictures we can. And my husband comes too. We both have cameras on the sidelines, and we end up getting like 800 pictures from a game. And then he goes through them all and culls them down to maybe 300 or 400 and then posts them online. And we just share those with the community. We feel like that's our way of giving back to all the parents,
Right.
So they can have pictures of their kids playing.
That's interesting. You say that your husband goes through and he culls some, is that, I think maybe I do the same thing. I have an idea of something, and you always have to have somebody on the outside to look at your stuff before you show it to the public. In my opinion, there are people, I don't know if I may be going off the rails here, but I have an idea for something, and I build like a prototype of it, or I, draw it up and I say, look, this is what I want to do. And I think it's the best idea ever. Uh-huh. And my wife will go, Brian, you need to come on down off the hill there a little bit. You're going way. Maybe if you just do this, this, and this, that's a really good idea. So is that kind of, what you're doing there? Is he takes the pictures?
Well, in that particular case, with that situation where he's culling it, it's just because I am way too busy with the normal editing and stuff.
Okay.
So he's helping me out.
Okay. So I just told on myself.
But no, what I will say is that when I am making something really creative, like the fire and ice picture, right. I will call him in quite frequently and say, what do you think about this? Do you think it's too much? Do you think I should do it differently? And he'll give me his opinion. And then a lot of times, just, being a guy who's played football or a guy who's gone hunting and I'm not experienced in that, I'll say, I want to stick. So like recently I had a hunter and I had him lay on the ground leaning up against a tree like he's asleep. And then I wanted to put a deer, like a deer had walked up to him, I was going through stock photo trying to find the deer to put on there. And I'm like, I have to get input from my husband is this the right kind of deer that we would have around here that I could put in this picture?
No, wait a minute. So the guy's a deer hunter and you want the deer like leaning on his shoulder asleep? Is that what you said?
No, I had him laying down, leaning against a tree asleep with his gun in his lap.
Oh, and
then the deer just walks up and is like sniffing him. Like, what's this guy doing here?
See.
Like he fell asleep and the deer walked right up to him.
You know what? Speaking of that, was that a real pony that you had in those pictures? I could not tell if it was real or if it was a fake pony. Was it real? The
unicorn?
Yeah.
The unicorn pictures?
Yeah.
Yes, that was a real pony.
Wow.
Yeah, a mini horse. Yeah. Okay. So a lady who was my client said that she had this little mini horse and would I like to maybe do a unicorn shoot with it, because she had the whole unicorn outfit for it and everything. And so
what was she doing with a unicorn outfit for her horse?
Because she likes to dress up her pony for parades and stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I did a lot of those, and they were very popular.
Yeah, I suppose if I had a mini horse, I would probably dress it up too. You're not going to ride it.
I've also done some mermaid shots.
I saw that. That's really cool.
No. Well, that.
What's that?
The horse wasn't wasn't broke to ride. So
right.
It just broke to pull a.
Right.
And wear a unicorn horn.
Is that your husband in the like the wizard picture?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's also a great model, and
I see that.
He's very cooperative. He likes anytime I have this idea. In fact, sometimes he comes up with ideas. That wizard was his idea.
Yeah, he makes a very good Gandalf. Yeah, he's a good Gandalf. I would, if
Yeah.
I had a van, I would want that picture on the side of my van.
You should buy a van. We could get it painted on that.
Do you have a website that you would like to plug, or can people just reach out to you on Facebook, or both?
I do have both. My website is stacyholbert.com.
Okay.
And my Facebook is Stacy Holbert Photoart. And my Instagram is Stacy Holbert Photo. That's mostly where you'd find me. I am on Pinterest too.
I don't know much about Pinterest. How do you find people on Pinterest? Or is it like an like the Twitter thing, or you can find her Pinterest from her Instagram page?
Yeah, that's right. You can.
From Instagram or Facebook, you'll find her links, or contact me and you'll find her Pinterest, and vice versa. Well, thanks again.
All right.
For
Well, thanks for
on.
having me. That was
You
really
bet.
fun. And
You
thanks
bet.
for doing this podcast.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.